speaker view.
Okay, cool.
Here we go. Hi, everyone. I think we're live on YouTube. Woohoo!
Yay! Hi!
I'm so excited.
So am I. This is going to be so much fun.
Give me 1 second. There we go. Awesome. This is working. And I'm so excited because we've had, YouTube has been not so friendly in the past. So I'm just so excited that you're here and it's working. Yay. And you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you to everyone who's joining us. This is amazing. I'm just going to give it a couple seconds. We've got our crew in the chat room. We've got Stacy. She's the wrench. She's moderating the chat room for us, along with Dexter, who lives all the way in Australia.
Wow, really?
Yeah. So say hi to Stacy and Dex. And it looks like we've also got Lisa Frith. So hi, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Thank you all for joining us. I'm so excited you're here. Awesome. Okay. So I'm just going to get ready to introduce you guys to Justine Serebrin, and I'm going to read her bio for you so you can have a little bit more background information on who Justine is. And let me do one more thing as well. Hold on. Okay, I think we've got, let me just check one thing. Hang on, everyone. Okay. I'm seeing us side by side, and I would love it if it was just showing you, but.
I like side by side.
You like the side by side?
Yeah, I vote for side by side.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens here. It's not cooperating either way. So anyways, so about Justine, hopefully some of you got to see her little sneak peek show last night with me. Justine is an amazing artist, and she calls herself an intuitive artist. And let me read her bio for you, because that'll be much better. Justine Serebrin is a transformative artist. Through her creation of visual and tangible art pieces, she brings in high vibrational energies from the ethereal into physical existence. Her work transforms and transmutes the energy of spaces into a more harmonious and balanced state. Beyond that, Justine's art pieces are created as portals for meditation, helping us to remember our true nature, and can be used for intention setting to support personal manifesting powers. With her award-winning Oracle deck, Rainbow Warrior Activation deck, she has created a portable support for divine guidance anywhere you go. I love that. Divine guidance anywhere you go. That's perfect.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me on the show.
Yes. Welcome again. And thank you for being here again. I love your shirt. It looks like an extension of your tattoo.
Oh, the shirt.
Yeah, your shirt.
Thanks.
Awesome. So I have a ton of questions. Tonight, we're going to cover some of Justine's projects that she has going on, because she's got a lot going on.
A lot.
And I hope we can fit it all in. I'm sure we will. We will. And I'm so excited to share your work with everyone, because I really do think it's quite beautiful and transformative.
Thank you.
And magical. And just so the audience knows, so I found out about Justine on YouTube a couple years ago. And you had started a series of YouTube videos where you were talking about different subjects on consciousness. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of like a series of things that people could sign up for, you know, over a specified course of time.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really cool because it was, you know, pretty innovative for that time. I felt like, because, you know, there were only a few people doing that. And that's how I found out about you. And then I noticed you launched your rainbow activation deck. And then I kind of saw you launch Higher Vibe Living. And so it was a great synchronicity that we were both going to be at the Conscious Life Expo in LA last week. So I was like, okay, that's a sign. It's time to, you know, finally meet you and invite you onto the show. So
cool. So cool that you watched it.
Yeah, that was fun. It was really, I remember one episode you were like outside at night. And I don't know.
I was just thinking of.
Oh, really? How funny.
Yeah.
Were you doing Skywatches, or I can't remember what you were talking about in that particular episode.
You know, that was so, it makes sense. That was so appropriate. It was Rob Gauthier, I think I'm saying it wrong, but he channels two multidimensional beings.
Okay.
One is Ardith and Treb. One is a Pleiadian and one is a benevolent reptilian.
Oh, so yes. I did see that episode. That's right. He was like on his couch in his living room or something. Yeah. And I was like a little tripped out because I'm like, oh my God, this guy channels reptilians and she's interviewing him.
I know, you know, and it was so interesting the way
it was crazy.
This series evolved. It really was focusing on like the rainbow light frequency energy and Kundalini energy, and it led me down the most multidimensional extraterrestrial path and broke through all these fears I had around it.
That's awesome.
I didn't even think that was going to come through at all, but just the speakers that kept saying yes and that I was being led to in my research were into extraterrestrial stuff, and that I learned so much, and it all really connected to okay, the rainbow, you know, the rainbow activation deck, it's multidimensional, and there's no words on it, and it feels like it's when you look at the images, they can change and morph as you change and grow and evolve as well. So there's something alive and different happening with this rainbow frequency stuff. It's really interesting. Not what I expected.
Wow. Yeah, that's so awesome. I do some work that's also like multidimensional, and it kind of works with you as you're working with it. You know, it's responsive. So I totally get what you're saying. It's really cool.
What do you work on? Or can you tell me about that? I'm going to start interviewing you.
I know, right? Here we go. I do a healing modality called quantum psionics, and it's right there. Do you see that board? The balloon. Yes. It has portals on it, and you use dowsing to get information in to do healings, and it works with different healing modalities. Like you can incorporate qigong or crystals or essential oils or Reiki. You can incorporate different healing modalities into the healing, and you're basically sending high frequency affirmations and intentions, like psionics is the power of the mind, to the person who's receiving the healing. So I noticed that when I work with it, whatever issues they come to me with, like come through in the tools, like in real time. And sometimes they're grouped together. Like if they say, I want to work on fear, like I'll get a bunch of stuff for fear. And then if they also wanted to work on courage, you know, like a bunch of stuff on courage will come through like at the same time. So, yeah. So enough
so
about me.
Of that.
Yeah, I'm going to be talking about it more because not a lot of people know about it.
Because you're going to let me interview you, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool.
We can work on that.
Okay, that's happening now.
That's happening now. Live TV. So I just want to say hi to a couple people in the chat room. My nephew is in the chat room. His name is Steven. Hi, Steven. And that's a big deal for me because not a lot of my family knows about the Ascension sessions. And he's a big...
get that.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people watching understand that. And it can feel like you're on an island sometimes in this realm. And we're on the same page. So, hey, Stephen, thank you so much for coming out and supporting me. And your wife, of course, I know you both are watching. So thank you for being there. And we've got Tanette. Hey, Tanette. And True Inspiration. Hi, everyone, for joining us. Oh, and Ramez, I can't say your last name, but we've already got questions for you.
Awesome.
So just really quickly, I'll start with, some basic questions, and then we'll jump over to the chat room and take some questions from the audience as well. So Justine, I know I asked you this last night, but if you could please share with everyone, like how long you've been an artist and how you got started. And I want to hear a little bit more about like 5 to 10-year-old Justine and what life was like for you growing up and where you grew up and all of that.
Okay, you got it. So I had that was a really happy time for me. That was like the golden years. I had so much creative support. My grandmothers were painters. My mother's a painter artist, and my dad's a musician. And my parents are both in the medical field too. So there's this like really logical brain side and this really creative brain side mixed together. And my mom she knew she was going to have an artist. She totally was intuitive and created that, chose that, and clearly chose her. And my parents made space in our home to have an art room in the house. Like, who gets that? You know, I was so lucky. And there's also a big connection with the work that I'm doing now, and what I'm so connected to is the ocean. And that goes back to that golden era as well, because I grew up by the beach. And so I was always at the ocean. And my parents took me to Hawaii a few times during that time. And I got to snorkel on my own in the little tide pools, and they'd sit on the beach and just watch me. And I felt free. I felt connected to the earth more than it was that was like my experience of nature, was being in the ocean, you know?
Wow. That's so magical.
Yeah, and you have such a connection with the ocean too, and mermaid life and everything like that. So
yeah, we talked about that offline last night, that I also grew up in the ocean and near the ocean, and in Miami, of course. You were in Hawaii, and you know, we have like the mermaid affinity love going on.
Yeah, definitely. So that definitely shaped my art, the art that I make, the way that I make art. My mom inspired me to turn on the music and paint to the music and just let whatever comes through to flow out, and to not judge it, and to not there were no mistakes. That was sort of the rule when we created art. No mistakes, no rules, just let it be free. Don't get hung up on anything. And around, I think in kindergarten, there was also an art room, and you couldn't get me out of there. All I remember doing is painting as many paintings as I could, just next page, next page, next page, next page, next page. Anything I could do, I just didn't want to stop.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I felt confident. I felt myself. I was really wild, and thought, I remember around 5, that's when I started to refuse wearing the color pink, and just started to wear leggings and big boy t-shirts, and just my identity was coming through at that time. So
at 5 years old?
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah, you were so awake already.
What?
You were so awake already at 5 years old. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, I felt really free. I had a really free childhood. I feel very lucky.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's amazing. Well, it makes sense, right? Because now you're this like amazing entrepreneur and creative and inspiration to others. You know, those are all big shoes to fill. So
you know what, it feels like this is, sorry, go ahead.
I was just saying that's so beautiful. Like it's all coming around full circle.
That's exactly right. You know, and like the Saturn return it's ending for me, and I feel like that golden period is finally integrated into my lifestyle now as an adult, and I'm living in my happy spot. You know, I get to paint every day. I get to turn ideas into tangible forms, and that's what I also get to help other people do with the creative activation coaching that I'm doing. So I'm really blessed.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. That's awesome. So can you tell people, like, again, what an intuitive artist is? I know you talked about that last night, but again, you know, there are new people joining us. So I would love for them to hear in case they're not familiar with that term.
Yeah, so intuitive art to me is painting or creating from the essence of your spirit, and letting that be the driving force for your creativity, using your intuitive nudges, ideas, impressions, feelings. It's about feeling and emotion. So when I start a painting, I do not know what I'm going to do, how it's going to look at the end, because it's not about that completely for me. It really is about the experience of creating it. It's the journey, you know? And I start the painting. I'm about to start 3 new ones this week, so stay tuned. If you look at my Instagram and stuff, I'll be posting the process of it, so you can see how I do it and what that looks like as they evolve. But I'm about to just start throwing paint on the wall. Basically, they're large canvases, so I start with just an emotion, feeling, and I get that sort of like when I just had the vision of, you know, Peter Pan teaching Wendy and the kids how to fly. And you have to get into that feeling where your soul feels lit up and excited and full of joy, like the happy thoughts, or whatever it is that you're pulling, whatever emotion you're pulling into or wanting to connect to bring that forward and through your being. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that totally makes sense.
Okay.
That's beautiful. I think that, you know, when you go to art school, they probably don't teach that way. I mean, maybe some teachers do, right? But I think that it's a different, like more traditional, like, oh, you've got to learn how to create this stroke and that stroke, and you have to learn how this ink works and that paint works, you know. So they get more into the technical or the left brain side of art, and you know, that's important, so you know which tools to use. But I think that harnessing the intuitive part of art is more important, right? Because that's where, you know, you're pulling down your creative inspiration or your muse or your whatever you need to express as an artist through that intelligence.
You're so great.
That type of intelligence.
Yeah, there's actually, when you're saying that, one memory of one awesome teacher. Well, when you start in art school, there's the foundation program, like you learn all those basic things, and then you go into the studio classes. And I had this one professor who I was just getting into my major, which was painting, and he says, okay, Justine, just close your eyes. This is part of what I do now, close your eyes and just allow yourself to see in your mind's eye an image of something exciting to you, and focus on that, and then see if you can just use that impression or the essence of that and let that come through in the artwork. And that exercise is something I'm still doing, so I was lucky enough to have that in the later part of my schooling.
Your training. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I feel like, a lot of us are lucky enough to get like one teacher that, we really connect with, and they kind of stick with you through your career. So that's cool. So can someone commission art from you? Like, do you do commissioned work? You do? Okay.
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would go ahead.
I was just going to say, we have a lot of art buyers in our community.
Oh yeah.
So I thought I'd just put that out there really quickly. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. And lovers of art.
That's amazing. How cool. Yeah. If you're interested, I will, just through a conversation can feel into the energy of whoever wants the piece, or if I get pictures of the home or the room that it will go into, and know the intentions of what is needed to invoke more passion, creativity, abundance, whatever it is, or just peace and relaxation and something to meditate more deeply into, I can do that. And I'll send the progress photos and send off the painting, and you get it.
Awesome. Wow. Well, that sounds like quite a way to commission an art piece.
Yeah.
It's very customized.
Very, yeah, definitely.
So can you talk a little bit about the Sacred Sea exhibit that you did, and what Mission Blue is, and how that ties in with that exhibit?
Yeah. So in October,
and I have photos. Sorry to interrupt. I have photos that you sent to me. Would this be a good time to share those? Are those appropriate?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to share with the audience some quick photos that Justine sent to me. So go ahead, keep talking.
Okay. So in October and November, I started painting for the show. I had it on November 30th of 2018. And these are some of the images. They're really large scale paintings. I did 10 of them, inspired by the ocean. And I would imagine that there are, in the deep sea, the undiscovered sea, there are these portals or wormholes that will go to, that's such a funny picture.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that's right. Of course you are. I was thinking like, yeah, keep going. Sorry.
This one is in progress. This one you have up right now. This was a progress photo, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's this little face and being that came through, and it really, when the beings come through in my paintings, they kind of creep me out, to be honest. And it's hard. My studio is also in my bedroom, so when I'm around them a lot, and I spend a lot of time with the energy of my paintings. And it was hard to sleep with this being looking at me. To be honest,
I'm trying to see it. Like, where are the eyes?
Her arms are spread out, and it looks like she has a dress.
Are the gold parts like her shoulders? They go down like kind of curved? Like right here and right here. I don't know if you can see my mouth.
Okay, now sort of, but her arms are more out like a starfish. And then the center, it's like her neck has these rings of red.
Okay, yeah, I see that. Yeah.
And then these weird eyes and almost like a unicorn thing coming out.
Right.
It was really strange. Her eyes in the finished piece, I think if you may have the photo of the finished piece, but she's still poking through that one.
Yeah, these are in no particular order, so.
Yeah.
But I do love this picture of you. I have to show it again.
We were having so much fun.
Such a great picture.
Doing the photos for this. So then, yeah, the Sacred Tea, the 10 paintings. I decided to just create my own art show, and I rented a gallery space. And the idea was to give 100% of the profits to Mission Blueish, which is an ocean conservation organization. And they create hope spots, marine protected sanctuaries in the ocean.
Oh, awesome.
So the ocean can repair itself without being constantly damaged and taken from. And right. I know that even in just the last 10 years or in my lifetime, the reefs have died a lot. You know, it's not the same sea that I grew up swimming in as a kid. It's very different. And it is my dream that we get to repair the sea with our consciousness in all aspects of our lives. So, you know, taking actions and being conscious of, you know, the plastic that we're using, straws, and being more thoughtful and sustainable with what we're eating, and it's just making different choices, being conscious. I really just think it's consciousness.
Totally.
And that if everyone can just be conscious, that trickles into everyone else's minds and will make a bigger impact when we do get the opportunity to make the decisions legally to change things permanently. So
I wanted to just comment on this one really quick, because those look like mermen, like mer people. Are they?
Yes.
Oh, awesome.
It was like one night, felt like I was channeling all of these beings. I just was sitting on the floor and painting one after the other. And I was nervous by them, and I couldn't. That's the painting I'm sitting in front of.
Oh, okay.
I went back into it, and I'm adding so much more to it. So anyway,
sorry.
The beings freaked me out. I couldn't look at them for such a long time.
Yeah, they look royal. They look like royalty, like royal mer people, especially the one on the right. Like she looks like the queen, and then the one behind her could be like her, you know, maiden or something.
Oh, totally. That's so cool. It was interesting. I just saw Aquaman.
Me too. Yes, I loved it. Didn't you feel like I've been there? I've lived there.
Yes.
Totally.
And a lot of the creatures looked like some of my paintings. It was so bizarre.
Yeah, I bet.
I've painted you before. How did that, you know, it's the stream of consciousness. Those artists were tapping in.
Yeah, I'm a scuba diver, so I love the ocean, and I love just being underwater and being in that world, you know, because it really is a different world. And I haven't dove since the birth of my son. So it's been 9 years, and now I'm kind of like, oh gosh, I'm afraid to go see what's, you know, what the oceans look like now. Oh, I love this picture of you as well.
Those are my painting boots.
Those are some pretty kick-ass boots.
Yeah, so they were $14.
Oh my goodness.
And so they're not precious. None of my clothes and things are I don't have precious things like that, but I paint in clothes that make me feel happy and excited and the best version of myself, and I don't care if I get paint on it.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's just part of me being in my best self and then making the best art I can to be of the greatest service I can be. So the shoes are important. I feel like they're sort of my slippers, but my ocean magic shoes step me into feeling like the best version of myself. Like
sorry, I was showing the YouTube chat accidentally, and it was like a loop in a loop in a loop.
Oh, okay.
So Lisa said, oh, sorry. Lisa said that she wants to live inside one of your paintings.
I want to too. Let's build that.
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome. Thank you.
People said, yeah. Dave said that they look like sea monkeys. Hi, Dave. Thanks for
that's cool.
coming on the chat. That's what they remind him of.
Awesome.
Aw, so cute. And Stephen, my nephew, said, reminds me of an advanced technological civilization underwater.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So cool. Okay. So back to your artwork. You said this one was a commissioned piece?
This is a commission, and it's on 2 giant pieces of this paper called Duraline, which is the clear, plasticky, translucent. It's translucent more than just clear. And it's all oil. And this was, when did I do this? In 2011. And I got it custom framed, and it's huge. It's really,
wow. It's beautiful. I love it. I love the color palette and like it looks like a land, like a distant land.
The picture doesn't do it justice because there's so many cool layers to it. I wish that would show up, but yeah, this is a cool piece, and it's an earlier piece, so you can kind of see and am I still there?
Yep. Okay. You're still there.
Yeah, you can see how the work has evolved over the years too.
Awesome. Oh, here's a cool picture of you. That looks like a mermaid tail. Is that a mermaid tail?
That does look like it. Sure.
Sure it is.
But
there
yeah,
you are in your boots.
Yeah. I paint underwear a lot.
That's a rad picture. I hope you're okay with everyone seeing that.
Of course. It's on Instagram. I want people to see like the real, what's really happening when I'm doing it. So
that's awesome. And here's another cool black and white.
Mm-hmm. I'm starting a new black and white series right now.
Is this for when, is that for, do you wear that like when you're working with a certain kind of paint or tattooing?
I'm starting to. No, that's what I'm starting to wear now because I use a lot of spray paint, and I lost a lot of brain cells when I created the Sacred Sea show, so I'm trying to keep them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's my new gas mask.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So this is so exciting. I love sharing this. It's so interactive. I haven't had the opportunity to do an interview style like this where someone has so much to share and show off. And I hope the audience is appreciating this because I think it's really cool. So if you guys like what you're seeing, make a comment.
Yeah.
Let us know. Oh,
that was me giving a speech at the Sacred Sea show.
Oh, awesome.
Right before I threw my notes down and just did it intuitively.
I love this picture too. And there's another mermaid tail in the background.
Yeah.
So this is a good segue because Justine is also an amazing tattoo artist. And she calls herself an intuitive tattoo artist.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I did check out your tattoo work on Instagram and it's amazing. And what is your Instagram handle really quickly if people want to go look while we're talking?
Yeah, at Justine Serebrin.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, she does really beautiful tattoo work, and you know, you go through this whole intuitive creative process when you're you know, before you start the tattoo. And I was just wondering if you could speak a little bit about I'm sure, you know, what that process looks like, because I'm sure some people come to you and they know exactly what they want, and then there's other people who feel inspired by your artistic style, and maybe some of your paintings that they've already seen, and then there's probably people who come to you and they don't know what they want, but they just know they want you to do it.
Yeah.
So is that true?
Yeah, actually right now that's all I do is the intuitive work, which means that we're letting what comes through come through. So no one really knows what they're getting. So it takes a lot of trust and courage to get a tattoo with me. So it's fun. It's a really cool process. I got the message about 11 years ago in a meditation. I saw myself doing a tattoo, sitting on this floor, looking out over the ocean, and this woman was sitting in front of me, and I was tattooing her lower back, and something about the tattoo that I was doing was healing her, transforming her in some way. And then I was rubbing herbs into her back. And at the time I didn't know about tattooing. I did do body painting back in the day. That was like my first, in the golden years when I was a kid. That was my first job, was babysitting and face painting at
oh wow. Oh, you did face painting. Of course you did face painting. You're you're such a, you're like mermaid, sprite, like of course you did face painting. That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's always been like a little bit of performance art stuff that I've been into forever. So then this shift and this vision came in really clear, and I was just listening to guided meditations, and I saw, the first thing I saw, I don't ever tell anyone this, was at the foot of the bed. So I'm laying on my back meditating, just listening to this music and this woman talking. Her voice stops, it's just the music, and I see my eyes are closed, but I can see, you know, when you're in that kind of twilighty meditative state, kind of out of it in a way.
Yeah, like not asleep, not awake fully.
I see, and I'm not religious, I see Jesus's face at my feet.
Wow.
And we're doing this, and we're trying to align our faces. And I was like, what is this?
What? Oh my goodness.
Jesus? Really? Okay. And then it's sort of like, okay, we aligned our faces, and then it went away, and then that vision came through about me doing the healing tattoo. So this was really profound to me. It felt like something I needed to follow or learn more about or do. And it felt like a future version of myself, really. So, okay, if that's my future, let's figure out how to do that. So I learned how to tattoo, and then more ideas started coming through. I got this vision for a really welcoming, gentle, really female-focused tattoo studio, and I wanted to call it the Altar. And I have all these, I found them recently, sketches of what I wanted the space to look like, how I wanted it to feel, all the different soaps and things we would do. We'd have tea and all this stuff. It'd be really holistic. And I just started, getting more and more information or ideas about it. And 10 years, even less than 10 years ago, I opened up the Earth Altar. So that was 2.5, 3 years ago, we opened up the studio. and it's called Earth Altar Studio. And it's my dream tattoo studio in physical form that you can come and visit in Eagle Rock, Los Angeles. And it's really a magical space. And that's where we do the sacred tattooing.
And it is really magical. I was checking out your website. I mean, I haven't been there, but you know, I felt like I transported there. Earthaltarstudio, right? .com.
Yeah.
And I mean, you guys look at the services, like it's just incredible. And Justine has this whole team of people that she works with, excuse me. And so you have other intuitive tattoo artists, you have a Reiki healer, and you have, I'm not sure if the other woman who does the nutrition is on that team as well, but can you talk a little bit about your team? Because I know that's a big part of, you know, the magic that happens at your tattoo studio.
Yeah, our team is incredible. I'm working with Mary Campbell right now, and she's my apprentice. Mm-hmm. She already knows how to do intuitive tattooing, and she uses the stick and poke style. So I'm training her to use the machine and teaching her how I do the ritual aspect of it. So I'll be passing the torch to her, and that's awesome. Really exciting.
That is awesome. And what's happening on March 9th?
Oh, well, I'm slowly pulling out of doing the intuitive tattoos. I want to do them in a different form eventually. So stay tuned for that. But I may take a few appointments here and there. I just can't do it. I can't grind them out anymore. I need to have a little more space between. So I'm pulling back on that, but I'm filling up my studio with really high vibe, conscious, beautiful, delicate, fine art tattooers from all over the world. And we have artists that work sacredly in ritual, and we have artists that work on commission based, like taking artist commissions, like whatever the client wants. That's what I mean. And so we have Vicky, who is our lead artist. She does incredible floral, delicate animal work too. She's incredible.
Wow, that sounds amazing.
Yeah. We have Louis, Siobhan. Siobhan does, he's a fine artist painter, and he does really, really delicate. That's what everyone specializes in, these really delicate, beautiful, fine line tattoos. And you just got to check out the studio's Instagram. It's at Earth Altar Studio, just so you can see everyone's style. They're just beautiful. And then Svietli, Master Svietli, he's in from Russia, living here, working with us, and he is killing it. We created I had this shed in the back of the studio, and we turned it into his sacred tattoo temple. It's so beautiful.
Oh, so wow. That sounds magical.
It is killer. It's awesome.
Lisa says, oh my God, she is local. I'm going.
Yeah. So I check out Svietli's work and Mary. They're the ones that do the more sacred work. And Siobhan and Vicky and Andre, they do more of the custom tattooing. So anything your heart desires, they can manifest it in tattoo form, and it's amazing. We also have Mickey, who's our piercer, and she does tattoo removal as well. She's amazing as well.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and she does kids things too.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. That's awesome. One of my best friends just had her daughter's ears pierced at a tattoo shop, and she's 6. And I was like, whoa, that's so like edgy and forward thinking, you know, because I grew up in the era of the gun at the mall.
Yeah, which is really actually unsafe and unsanitary.
Right. I've heard that. And it's more painful, and it can cause damage, I've heard.
Yeah. So it's better to have it done by a professional body piercer who's trained and sterilizes their stuff. Those guns don't get sterilized. So
that's awful.
It's really cool that kids and infants and, you know, families come in, like all the grandparents and mom, dad, and everyone's like having this really cool experience. We're creating ritual with around piercing for these amazing children, and Mickey just welcomes them with so much love and genuineness, and they have this really clean space to do it in. So I feel really happy with that.
That's amazing. Definitely going to come check out your studio next time I'm in LA.
Yes,
if not, make a special trip, because you've inspired me so much to get a tattoo now.
That would be awesome. Yeah, I would love to do that with you. That would be so
thank you. That would be amazing. Okay, so this is the time in the show where I have to ask you the question that I ask everybody.
Oh,
are you ready? Okay, so what does ascension mean to you?
Oh, that's good. Okay, so ascension means consciously choosing to be the best version of yourself. And I think that whatever way one chooses to do that or express themselves is you ascending and moving up the ladder of, you know, like that's what I think higher by living, what we're activating in others is seeing the level, wherever that level you're at in your life right now, that we can amp it up. You can have a better experience. You can have more joy in your life. You can feel better in your body. You can feel happier in your relationships. And these are some tools to do that. And I love that you're creating this series because it's sparking that in people. It's awakening others to all the different tools and things and ways of being that are accessible to us now that were not before, or we maybe never were taught in school or from our parents or in this paradigm of rules. So yeah, we're all blasting that open and flying up into a happier state of living. That's ascension to me.
Oh, thank you. That was so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for recognizing that. I mean, that's kind of why I started this channel, was just to get this information in front of people who might not even have been thinking about it at all. Or maybe they heard the word ascension and they're like, well, what does that really mean? And they only have, you know, like limited resources to get that definition from, you know, or very guided resources. So I wanted to pull different ideas and different definitions from a lot of different people in the community. So thank you. And so, you know, when I saw your artwork, I was like, okay, definitely high frequency, definitely being channeled, definitely, you know, super high vibration artist here. And, you know, I do believe that art can be a part of someone's ascension process, you know, just like a contact experience can be part of your ascension process, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So can you talk a little bit about how your art can influence the receiver or the viewer, or how it's influenced yourself in your own ascension process? Whichever angle you want to talk about that you feel more comfortable.
Yeah, absolutely. Something popped in my head when you said that, and it's reference to the movie Hungry for Change. Have you seen that?
No, I haven't seen that one yet.
It's a good one. It's one of those food movies, and one of the guys talks about how it's and I recommend watching it because I don't remember the science behind it, but I remember what he said. And it was about looking at a photo of the kind ideal body that you want. Since it was about food and, you know, feeling better in your body. and looking at that and consciously telling your mind, this is what I'm going for. Because what you can see and perceive is it's sending another signal or a more powerful signal to your body, and can understand how to match it more powerfully than just words on our vision boards, for example.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think about the vision board, what you're looking at is a focused intention visually to help create more of that in your life. So I encourage people making vision boards to put more images than words of what you want, because it creates such a more powerful feeling and emotion connected to it, which helps to bring in the manifestation of that more quickly and clearly and with precision. Mm-hmm. So with the artwork, what it's doing is it's creating this subconscious reaction in our mind, in our maybe even like astral body or some magical part of ourselves, our imagination, that there could be other worlds right here in front of us, or deep into the ocean. It just it's a mind expander. It's a playful way to expand our consciousness, and I think you can do that through all kinds of art, books and music and different creative expressions. So my paintings are these portals. Like, imagine if we really did, what would that be like if we could go down into the deep into the earth and then go into another universe? And if you can, it really breaks all the structures around, it breaks the cages of what we think reality is.
Right. Yeah. That's
and
beautiful.
If we can do that, imagine what we can create. Like, it's infinite. Mm-hmm. Because if you can have any idea, you can create it in tangible form. Any idea. That's how everything was invented. And right. There's still so much more we can do. Like, we're still living kind of like caveman in a way.
Yeah. So when I see your paintings, I see multidimensional, definitely. And I just want to share this one with the audience. So when I met Justine and we talked about doing this show, I said, can I have your card so I can contact you? And she gave me this, and she goes, yeah, here's my card. And she gave me this beautiful painting, and it's called Celebration of Life. Is it?
I celebrate my life.
I celebrate my life.
This is the one in the photograph you said looked like a mermaid tail.
Oh, wow.
That was the underpainting of
that. Oh, I see it right here. This part,
mm-hmm.
Like the tail's right there. Yeah. So then she flips it around and she goes, there's my card. And there's her beautiful card. So thank you so much for this gift. So welcome. Now I'm all like, I got to get the right frame, and I got to find the perfect spot to hang it up in my house, because it's a portal, I'm sure.
And meditate in front of it.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So that's so awesome. Okay, awesome. So we've talked about your art, and we've talked about your tattoo studio, Earth Altar Studio. And I would love to talk a little bit about higher vibe living.
Mm-hmm.
And then we will also talk about your beautiful Rainbow Warrior activation cards.
Okay.
But we'll save that for last. And you guys in the chat room, don't go away, because somebody is going to receive a reading from Justine's beautiful Rainbow Warrior activation deck. Mm-hmm. So let me just check the chat room really quickly. You guys, if you have any questions, please put them in all caps, because it's hard for me to find questions. But everyone's saying, oh my God, she's amazing. Oh my God, her work is beautiful. Aww. So talented. It's amazing. What's her Instagram? blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Is she drinking vodka?
What? No, water.
Are you talking about me?
What are you drinking?
Probably Tanette saw me drinking this. It's just water.
I'm drinking water in a mason jar.
Okay. We're both drinking water.
No, I can't drink vodka. That would be horrible.
I know. Can you imagine? Oh my gosh. She's totally messing with us.
Look at these portals. Come on in.
Drink some vodka and look at these portals. No.
Low high vibe.
Right. Oh my goodness. So another website that you guys can visit while we're talking is highervibeliving.com. And this is your most recent project, right?
Yes.
Yes. And you partnered up with two other beautiful ladies. So, you know, it's like, if you can't get enough beauty, just go look at these other beauties. There's more beauty. There's like, you're surrounding yourself with beauty. It's
They're
amazing.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
For sure.
It's like, they're going to get so many viewers. Oh my goodness. And your partners' names are Karina and Adrian. So can you tell us a little bit about how this project got kicked off and what you guys are offering to create Higher Vibe Living?
Yeah, so Adrian was attracted like a magical fairy to, she calls it the selenite and an energy of Earth Altar Studio. And she walked in and she had her resume and she was looking for a job. And I said, well, I need someone for front desk. Do you want to work with us? Then, you know, I find out and feel, and she does Reiki for me. I feel her energy and she is so awesome, clear, so multidimensional. She can see and feel so much and heal so much. And she does extractions and clears all these blocks. And then she can articulate what she's seeing through metaphor with precision. It's incredible.
Wow.
So I said, let's get you off front desk. Let's get you doing Reiki at the studio, you know?
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Been awesome. Yeah, at it. And then we went to a entrepreneurial conference in the fall or in the beginning of September. And we met Karina. And we're sitting there and we just were pretty inseparable and really connected. And Karina is so grounded and conscious, and she's into conscious eating, and her gift is also in the not only the relationship with food, but in your relationships with other humans, and noticing and understanding the patterns from this really powerful bird's eye view or grounded view, and how she can she holds space for someone to transform from the patterns that are blocking someone. It's really powerful. So we thought, what if we created a project for fun where we came together and offered this really, you know, like 3 heads are better than one kind of thing. We all want to do coaching. We all are doing this individually. What if we came together and we're able to offer someone a really full, well-rounded, full experience of healing and big time transformation? Let's do this. Wow. And then we'll make some videos and talk about what we do and have fun in the process and see if we can help people transform, right? And so that's what we're doing, and we're having fun with it, and we're keeping it really light and not, we have a schedule every week. We're doing videos. Each one of us has a day, and we work with clients individually, and we have group. We'll take a group of people through the transformation, but it's an individual process. So you first meet with Adrian and do your energy clearing with her, And then Karina gets you and she walks you through high vibing up your food, diet, movements, and understanding the relationships in your life. And then you get to me and I talk about and hone in on the creative aspect of one's life. What is your purpose?
Passion.
And passion. Why did you come into this body to create?
Right. Life's purpose, sacred destiny. Yeah. Oh, wow. That sounds so amazing. So wait, question. Is it like you do a whole group of people all at once, kind of like in a school, and then they get individual sessions, or do you just take clients one-on-one?
It's mostly
and then okay, and then but you're also doing a video series, or you're doing videos. Is that more like free content, or how does that work?
Free content.
Okay.
Free content, so we can just share what's going on and share the synchronicities that are happening each week individually, because a lot of times there will be patterns that are coming through when we're working with our clients. So
okay, that sounds so amazing. Because it's so wise of you, because you really need that full picture experience to really make change, right? Like we're 90% energy, so we got to work on the energy body first. And then, we've got the physical body to deal with, and our blocks and our patterns and our self-sabotaging habits. And then we've got, once all that stuff's cleared up, you work on your life's path and why you reincarnated into this body at this time in this space, And some people, it's hard to remember that really clearly when you've got blocks, you've got trauma, you've got current habits, you've got outside influences. So, wow, that's so beautiful that you guys came together. Like, how did it happen? Did you were having wine and then all of a sudden you were like, let's just, create this amazing transformative experience for people? Or how did the idea come into existence?
Wine, but we were just hanging out during this conference during the weekend, and it just kept coming back around, like, why don't we do something? And Karina lives in Germany, so all the work we do is digital. And she said, well, we were in Arizona,
right?
And she said, well, I'd really love to come to your show. Maybe I can stay in Los Angeles with you and help out and come to your show in November, at the end of November. So this is September. And Adrian and I are like, yeah, we could host you. Let's do this, And
that's awesome.
She stayed with Adrian and we hung out once a week, and it just fell into place.
Yeah. All of your guides were working behind the scenes going, okay, now you tell her this and you tell her that, and then we'll make it happen. It was divinely orchestrated in the background.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And we're in the process of figuring out a way to get Karina back out here soon, and Adrian too. And we're going to create this little bubble, and they'll stay with me, and we'll just create and create and create and see what'll happen in the next 2 months. So we'll be
awesome.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
There's going to be some new stuff coming soon.
Okay.
I feel it.
I will stay tuned.
Yeah.
So we have a question for you from UFO Galadriel, which is actually Lizzie B.
Okay.
She wants to know, what medium does Justine use for her art?
That's a great question.
Yes.
So I start off the bigger paintings with a lot of watery acrylic paint, a lot of splattery, watery paint, and that gives it that translucent underwater feeling to start with. And
I
then
saw a picture of that. It was like green paint just like dripping everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's messy. And then
let me see if I have it. Keep going.
I use this acrylic spray paint. It's made by Liquitex, so it's not that like real crazy fumey kind. This doesn't have it's really, really low odor. But I still recommend using the mask. I should have done that more. But I create my own stencils and also use some pre-made stencils, and I start stenciling shapes, and then I go in after that with oil paints, and then I spray paint on top of that and just start going back and forth with both of those until it's done.
Wow. Sounds like a lot of textures and a lot of layers.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. Awesome. Okay. Let's see. How are we doing on time? It's 8 o'clock. Are you good? Would you like a break?
No.
Do you need like a quickie break? No? Okay.
You?
So we can, no, I'm fine. I'm okay. Awesome. So I think we could talk about your rainbow activation deck. Are you ready to talk about that?
Yeah, totally.
Okay. So I would love to know, like, you know, how this was birthed, like how it came into your awareness. And personally, I wanted to know, like, how long did it take you to paint each card or to draw or create each card? Because I'm sure you had to create some specifically for this deck, right? Or are they all mini versions of previous paintings?
No, that's a good question. It came through about 5 years ago, and I didn't have a name for them. I didn't even think I was ever going to publish them. That wasn't the intention right off the bat. Mm-hmm. I just knew I needed to make them as a tool for me to use to open up a deeper connection and conversation with my clients that I was helping and doing the tattoos for. It was just a tool for me. And so
interesting.
I cut up some watercolor paper. Actually, no, that's not. I found the originals. Where can I get them to show you? Well, I'll just describe it. Okay. The originals were, it was one afternoon. I knew I had an idea of what I needed to make them. And cut up a bunch of computer paper first. And I just started writing the ideas of, so there were seasons, there were these different spirits like crystals, animals, plants, and kundalini energy, that kind of life force energy. Then there was these archetypes that came through, and in the chakra system as a way to connect to the body, since I'd be working with the body, energetic, physical body. And elements came through, with fire, water, and what else? I think that might be it. But there are 52 cards in the deck.
So you just described like the order in which the card like card groupings came through, right? So like when you said crystals came through, or fairies or elementals, did you get like more than one image for those type of groupings?
It really was an evolution. It was really a 5-year creation process.
Oh wow.
So there were a lot of edits and changes and different card decks. The first ones I made, there wasn't 52 to start. It was maybe half of that, and I lost the deck. So then I got to make a new deck.
Oh wow.
And that evolved again. And then then what happened? I think I set the intention in January 2016, I think it was. that I'd like to publish these somehow, print them somehow, by September of that year. In June, I was at a farmer's market with promoting Earth Altar Studio, and I was doing readings on a little table for people, and Tracy Dunblazer, this woman, I didn't know her yet, and she sits down, and she's a tarot reader, an empath, shaman, writer, publisher. And
oh, perfect. This is one of my questions, so keep going. I wanted to hear about her and how that whole marriage came into play.
Yeah, it was divinely orchestrated as well. So
she's, just for the audience, she's the one who wrote the book that comes in the deck.
Yeah, and she published the whole thing too.
Oh, she did? Okay.
Yeah. She has her own publishing company called Go Tracy Publishing. So the cards, the original cards are, and they're the deck.
Can you hold those up again? I'm sorry. I think the camera was on me when you were showing them. So I'm going to stop talking and let you show them.
Got it. Okay. Here's the box. I got to do the design for the box. I'm very proud of that. And the original, this is what the cards look like now. And there's the back to them, and there's rounded corners, and they're very professional. But my deck, the original deck, is what I use with my clients, and it's just the watercolor paper with chicken scratch words and ideas on the back of them. So that's what Tracy was playing with. That's what I was doing readings with at the market thing.
Right. Those are the ones you use in your tattoo studio.
Yeah.
The watercolor ones. Okay.
Yeah. So you can barely see the pencil on the back of those, of what they are, as I was forming them. And she's like, well, let me play around. Let's see if I can do a reading for you. So she does it, and she knows there's one card, the ancestor card, that came out for me, and she knew it was ancestors. That's what she was channeling from the picture of the card. And it's not like it really looks like an ancestor, just some feathers.
Wow.
And design. And
that's
she
cool.
read the others, and it made complete sense. And so I was like, wow, these work. And if she can do it, that means everyone else could tap into it if they just worked on it and trusting that intuition.
Well, she was a professional tarot card reader though, right?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's
she
true.
had that going for her.
Right, but I believe everyone can do it.
Yeah.
So that's why I really put the power in everyone's hands by not putting a word on the card, so you can first trust yourself and follow your own intuition and guidance.
Yeah. I love that about your deck. It's the only deck I've personally come across where there's no words on it, and you as the creator encourage people to use their own intuition and interpret the art in the way that one should or would. And that's what art's about, right? Is like the viewer's interpretation.
Yeah, exactly.
So I love that, like that also double play in there.
You're your own best intuitive.
Yeah.
Or psychic, or whatever you want to call it, you know?
Right.
You know best for you.
Yeah. And when you observe art, it's like you get your own interpretation of that art, which is what the artist usually wants.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So it's like a double thing there, double entendre. So we have a question. Where did it go? Does Justine, this is from Stacy, does Justine have tips for artists? Oh wait, that's an art question. Is that the one I want to get? Stacy, hang on one second. Can I just ask the card about the tarot, since we're on the tarot? Why do you think tarot cards work? And do we contribute to the answers to the questions we ask? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. I think that it's sort of how I think about co-creation and that you are, well, we're working with our own intuition, our own inner guidance, our higher self. But there's also, if you believe in that, guides and angels, God, source, the universe. I think that there's an aspect that plays into that as well. And sometimes that's the magic of what happens when you're dealing out the cards and the same card keeps popping up over and over and over again. Like, how do you explain that? Is that your higher self working through your arms, throwing that card out every single time on this deep, deep subconscious level? Maybe. I'm not sure. But what if what our interpretations are from the cards are what I feel like is what hits home when you're doing a reading or getting a reading is what you're supposed to hear. So those moments when you, I don't know if you're giving the reading or receiving the reading, I don't know if it even matters. But for me, when I'm doing a reading with the cards, let's say for you, I will look at this card and this is the fire card. Based on the first impression in the moment that I'm getting, is this is about your passion. It's not about sitting by a fire, but it could be for another person.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah. Based on the first image I have in my mind when I see the card in connection to your energy at the moment.
Yeah, I got fire passion, but I also got heat, like heat in my body, which has been the topic of the week, you know, because I carry a lot of heat in my upper body and then my lower body is very cold.
That's so interesting.
Isn't that interesting? Because like heat rises, right? So like if you think about it, the top of your house is really warm and cozy and the floor is freezing. And so it's like your own atmosphere in your house. And from the waist down, I'm always freezing. And from the waist up, I'm hot, you know? So it's really interesting. And then heat also like, well, I won't get into my own personal health stuff, but that's what hit me. Also passion. Today. Yeah, that's so cool.
Maybe it is about evoking a little more like
water.
Passion.
Maybe I need more water. That's so interesting.
See, and what it's evoking for you is different for me. I'm just going off of my perception of you. That's why I think it's so powerful for one to do it for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. And that point you made of like, why do we always get the same card? I've always wondered that because, you know, in the traditional tarot deck, there's like, is it the world card that has a big sun on it? Or it's the sun card, I forget. But there's one that I always get that card. It's like the world or the sun. I forget which one I think it's called the world, but it has a sun on it. That's why I'm confused. But I always get that card. And I'm like, why do I always get this card? And it's a really good card too.
I mean, that could be that feeling. That's so cool. Like maybe it's that you keep saying that and you're attracting it. You're manifesting it because you are way more powerful than you realize. That's the message I get every day. We are so much more powerful than we realize, than we give ourselves credit for. That of course you keep pulling it. You want to see that card. It's exciting and brings joy for you to see that card. It reminds you of how powerful and connected you are, you know? So maybe we are pulling out the same card. We need to keep seeing it because that's going to bring us the most joy in that moment.
Yeah. You know? Yeah, that's awesome. That's a great interpretation for sure. Yeah.
But okay, I'll also say this is interesting too. At the expo, we had the cards spread out on the table. So passerbyers would pick up a card. And each day there was a different card that kept showing up in everyone's hands.
Oh, like for that day, it would be the same card. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Strange. So was I manifesting that? Or was
Maybe
there collective conscious need
yeah.
for that card at the time?
I was going to say that collective consciousness was trying to get something through.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, and when you're at the Conscious Life Expo, you kind of feel like you're in this sea of collective consciousness. Because there's so many people, and it's like literally wall to wall consciousness, you know, and when there's a bunch of people moving in the same direction, you feel like a sea, like a fish in a school of fish, if that makes sense, you know. So you're kind of like already like connected to everyone.
Yeah.
So that would make sense. That's really cool.
Yeah, very true. Very true.
I want to get back to Stacy because I started to read her card and then I didn't. I'm so sorry, Stacy. But going back to your art, her question is, do you have tips for artists who are just beginning to find deeper meaning in their creativity?
Ooh, yeah, I have so many tips. And I actually share them when I do the YouTube videos on Higher Vibe Living's page. So I recommend going to the site on YouTube of Higher Vibe Living and joining me there. Every Thursday, I'm doing videos and I'm talking about my creative process. So you can go back and see the other videos because I go in depth into different tips and things that we can do to set sacred space to open up that aspect of ourselves. One of my favorite things to do to open up the creativity when you're starting to really tap into your authentic creative voice in whatever genre you're expressing yourself in, like writing or curating soundtracks or editing videos or dancing, you know, what I recommend playing dress up and creating a space where you like this little container where no one's going to interrupt you. You have your own little bubble to really go deep into this wild, like rebellious self and see what she looks like or he looks like deep down inside of you. So
wow, that's such a great tip.
Like I'll put face paint on or I'll do my hair all crazy and I'll put on some weird like costume stuff just to feel like the wild self can come out. It's okay. And I think there's aspects of that in traditional ritual practices to let out this wild human aspect of ourselves, to be free and it wants to come out. And our culture is so rigid and doing these like painting workshops where I'm just like, and now you're going to do this and then you're going to take this line and you're going to follow me here and make sure you do that over here and equal it all, you know, like come on, let's be wild and free and express ourselves. Like what does your core really want to be? If you want to be like a wild sensual writer, how are you going to get in that mode? Are you going to put on like the sexiest dress you have and like light candles and drink a glass of wine and get hot? Like let's do this, you know? Let it out.
I love that. Oh my God, that's amazing. Okay, so can I share a story? Because I love that. That is so brilliant. That's such a great tip. Stacy, you won for the best question. Because we got the best answer. Oh my gosh. So my son, who's in third grade, last year, well, in I guess kindergarten, first and second grade, he had this art teacher at school. And they had to copy exactly what she would put up on the projector. And I mean, she was teaching them like perspective drawings in second grade, you know, and I know because I volunteered in the art class because I love art. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to volunteer in the art class. I thought it'd be fun, you know, but she was so rigid. Like she would make them like, she'd say, okay, today we're going to draw a cactus in the desert with this horizon line. And the sand has to be orange and the cactus has to be green and it's got to be this size ratio. And I'm like, dude, this is first and second grade art. Like, can we just like let them have fun and be creative and put some paint on craft paper or something, you know? But it was like she was using her like college style training on these first and second graders, and it would drive me bananas. And my poor son, like, he hated that class. And I'm like, what kid hates art? You know, how sad that she just like killed the art out of him. So I think you've inspired me. I'm gonna like make my kids dress up. And I'll dress up with them, and I'll tell them they can get paint all over their clothes. I don't care. And we'll like have a painting party.
Yes.
Yeah, because my poor son, like, he won't even like, the other day I was like, do you guys want to paint? Like, let's get out. I have some blank canvases and we've got tons of paint. And he's like, no. So I just feel bad that he had that art teacher, but it's not too late. I'm going to still work on this.
Yeah. Perspective.
Not so important.
Good to learn later when you want to.
Right.
You know,
exactly.
When you're like, how do I get the building to look real? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do that.
But not in second grade and first grade.
No.
That's crazy. So that was so fun. I love that tip. So if we can go back to, and I'm sure you have other great tips. Now I want to hear all of them. But I want to make sure we get all the other questions answered. Mm-hmm. So there was one I just saw. Oh yeah. So Ramez, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. He wants to know how tarot cards work, and do decks differ from one another? And do the results vary from deck to deck?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, definitely. I personally don't fully resonate with the original tarot. And other decks. That's why I made my own. Mm-hmm. Because I wanted a tool that felt like an extension of myself, and that there were no rules or preconceived ideas around, so my clients could have a fresh experience. Mm-hmm. Without feeling like, oh, I know that card. That's the death card. Oh no.
That's the devil.
Stressing out, you know? So, you know, you get a reading with these cards and there's no emotional reaction to them, it's just neutral. Mm-hmm. For them, unless they're starting to use the cards, which is happening now. So now I'm getting clients that are like, oh yeah, I have your deck, you know, and I use it all the time, and that's a really new experience. But all the decks are different because every artist is different, all the writers are different, and the subtle energies in those cards are super different. And I think that's why so many people actually collect tons and tons. Do you have tons and tons of decks?
I do. And you know what? I'm kicking myself right now because I didn't buy your deck in LA.
I will send you a deck.
And the reason I didn't buy your deck in LA is not because it wasn't beautiful or because I didn't love your art. It's because I have so many decks, you know? Right. And it's like, oh, do I really need another deck? And in fact, so my friend Robert, who you met, Robert Novak, his booth was right next to yours.
He's awesome.
Yeah, so he's a friend of mine, and I actually bought his deck. Oh, cool. Did you see his deck? He had his deck out on his table that he also made.
That's beautiful.
And I interviewed him in LA also, so you'll get to see his interview in the future. But I was kind of like, well, I already bought a deck today. I'm not going to buy another deck. But now I really want your deck.
Well, the cool thing about these is that they work really well layered with other decks and with awesome. The original tarot as well. So it kind of gives another level of meaning and emotion, because these cards tend to have more of a subtle, intuitive energy to them.
They do, and
complement the other cards that have more of a linear way of thinking.
Yeah. And like I have, some of the angel decks, and I have another artist's deck who's also got all her original paintings on it, but it does come with words in a book. And I've used my friend's deck who has like the animal, I forget what they're called, but they're like the animal deck, and they're black and white, and they have like the wolf card and the cheetah, and they're kind of like shamanic, kind of like Native American. Like those are really cool. But it's so interesting that when you work with the different decks, you really feel the energy behind the intention and the creation of that artist and that deck. Like it's very different. Like the angelic cards that Doreen Virtue made are very like, they're very angelic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then those, the original tarot deck, I also don't resonate with that much. I mean, I've had a couple of readings from it, but I didn't understand it as, because I was like really new at this, and you never want to get the devil card or the death card or whatever.
Which just means transformation.
Right, right. But still.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's still like, it's just so ingrained in us to be in our culture to be so afraid of death and the devil and like, oh my gosh. And they make the cards look scary too.
They do. They make the cards
so
look
scary looking.
That's the main thing. Like that's the reason you don't want to get that card.
You know what though too, at the time they were made, it probably was pretty dark and scary. So
yeah. Right. Exactly. I wonder do you know what country those originated from? I wonder if it was England. Does anyone know in the audience?
I don't know the history. That would be really interesting.
Yeah, that would be really fascinating. Oh, Tanette, she's pointing up. Oh yeah, I got you, Tanette. Did I get you? Let's see if we have any other questions. Oh, Tanette has another question. Have you heard of inner child cards? And if so, would you recommend them?
No, but I have an inner child card in my deck.
Oh, that's cool.
Inner child cards, no, but that sounds like a cool deck. Yeah. My inner child card is about going. This is a good another tip for artists. When you get that card, when you think about the inner child, I recommend getting an old picture of yourself from just any point in your childhood, whatever you can get, and sit in front of it and stare into the eyes of your child self and imagine either you're going back to that time and looking around and feeling into who you were and what you liked and what you thought and felt and what you did for fun, or go in and pretend like you're hanging out with your child self. And what does your child self want to do and play with and show you? And if you can tap into those feelings of those little things that made you light up and feel excited and inspired, and like those things that took you into another world. For me, it was snorkeling or pretending I was on a pirate ship in my treehouse in my backyard, in all these different worlds. Those are signals to where those are like breadcrumbs to the joy and your passion in that you can bring and evoke more of in your current life as an adult. So I really recommend going back. It's like time traveling to your old past self, to your past life as a child, and pulling in all those pure aspects of you that brought you joy, and recreating them and pulling in new memories around them and having fun again and dressing up and playing and seeing what comes out as an adult.
That's awesome. Thank you for that. That's such great, advice. And actually it's similar to like going on a shamanic journey and like, being that inner child, being that little child again, when you were 6 or 10 or whatever age, you get pulled back to, and then asking that inner child, like, what do you need, you know, or to feel safe, or whatever feeling you need to feel. So yeah, it reminds me of that journey.
Definitely.
Which is very healing.
Very.
Yeah.
See, that's like the deep, deep healing stuff that I would send a client to you or to Adrienne and Karina for, you know?
Yeah.
And then once you're doing that, like healing and integrating of those old aspects of yourself, then you get to me and we get to like dive into that like really fun creative stuff, you know?
Yeah.
We're gonna have the party over here, okay?
Right. With our masks and the music and the paint flying everywhere. Yeah. I love it. That's awesome. So Dex said that from Google, tarot cards were likely originated in northern Italy during the late 14th or 15th century.
Wow.
Yeah, you nailed it. When were the Dark Ages? They were the 13th, or was that the Renaissance? I'm confusing my history. But it was pretty dark back then, for sure.
Was.
Yeah. No, the Renaissance happened in the 1600s. So I think the 14th or 15th were definitely like still dark. Certainly darker than now. Yeah. And then actually it's not from Dex. Sorry, that was from Taylor. And he said the oldest surviving set, known as the Visconti Sforza deck, was created for the Duke of Milan's family around 1440. So cool. That was really interesting. Thanks for doing that research, Taylor. That was awesome. Medieval. He said it's the medieval times. There you go.
Wow. Perfect. Yep. Dark times, dark cards. Happy times. Happy cards.
Speaking of that, this is a good time to segue into happy cards and happy times. Okay. So Justine has so graciously agreed to pull a card for somebody in the audience. So is there anyone like dying to get a reading? You know, please like make a comment, say, I would love a reading, please, in all caps. So we can call on you and do a card reading for you. So there's a 16-second delay. So I'm just going to wait and see like who pops up and scroll and make sure I didn't miss any other important, juicy questions. Dex or Stacy, if I missed any questions, please let me know.
The throat chakra card came out. Speak up. Who?
That was for me. No.
That's you?
That's me. Yeah, I'm always like throat chakra stuff. Wow, that's a beautiful card. Okay, we have a taker. Julian Williams. Julian Williams.
Okay, this is going to take participation on your part, Julian. So I need you to focus, send your energy into this deck of cards. Think about, go inward and think about a big wish or dream or passion or desire or craving that you have for your life, for your experience here on earth in this lifetime. What do you really want to know, to share, to do, to be, to have, to create? Think about that.
Okay. So then how do you pull the card? Are you going to like fan them out? Are you going to shuffle them? Let one pop out?
Yeah, I think I'm going to have them type in the word now, and the top card is going to be your card. You just tell me when that pops up.
Okay. So there's a 20-second delay.
It'll be in divine timing by the time I hear it.
Yeah. So right when I hear it, the guides know about the delay.
Yeah. So fun.
We need like Jeopardy music. Do, 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 do. Now.
Perfect.
Just came in.
Animal spirits.
Animals?
Okay, so what do you see in the card? Would that fit better? So I want you to look at it and see what your first impressions are, what feelings are coming up, memories, thoughts, and just type them out. Your first impressions.
Okay, so Julian says beauty, color, and freedom. And if you have more, you can keep going.
So that is clearly a mirror to what is dying to come out of you, what's ready to be expressed from you. And as the interpreter of the card with you, for you, this is the animal spirit card. So it is about connecting two different animal spirits that evoke color and freedom. What was the other word?
Beauty.
Beauty. So think about any animal that embodies those characteristics, qualities, that you can adopt as your animal totem for this period of time, as long as you need it, to bring you more of those things. So when I was opening up my studio, I was much more timid, and I needed to have more strength and power to be able to hold the energy of this giant thing I had just created. So I didn't get all walked all over all the time, that I could just, had to be a boss all of a sudden of a bunch of people. And I had never really done that before to that scale, to that degree. And in my meditations, I kept seeing this tiger come through. And I saw the tiger as a female, and she was like a mother, this giant tiger mother, and she got on my back like a backpack and merged onto my back.
Oh, and wow.
It was really cool. And it felt like she was being infused into my energy to be able to hold that power and strength. And when I think about what a mama tiger is, you don't mess with her.
Right.
You respect her. She is beautiful and powerful, and you just let her do her thing. And that's how I needed to be feeling at that time. And I needed to hold that new energy. And so the power of the animals holds so much, so many lessons for us, so much teaching, so much strength and beauty and color and freedom.
Yes.
depending on the animal you choose, and looking at how, like the child card we were talking about earlier, like how does that animal, or how do different animals hold different energy? How do they act with each other? How do they play? You know, you think of dolphins,
right?
So joyful and playful compared to what's popping in your head? What animal are you thinking
of? Me. Let's see. When you said dolphins, I thought of whales, you know, instantly. So
different energy.
Yeah, different energy.
Yeah.
They're like more grounded, more serious, more like protective, I feel. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I wonder, Julian, can you write what animals come up to mind for you as totems that would embody those characteristics, or anything that came up for you when I was talking?
Tanette said a hummingbird. And then she said hummingbird doing a nosedive now.
I love that.
Maybe because you rotated them. Oh, and Julian said, okay, I always like the idea of a black horse being my spirit animal.
Yeah, so I would meditate on that. And what is it about that creature that evokes excitement and passion and connection for you? Because there's so much richness in that connection, the draw, you know.
Right.
There's so many teachings, like why it's like interpreting a dream, but it's more conscious. So for the hummingbird taking the dive, what does a hummingbird symbolize to you, and what does the dive symbolize in that connection? You know, what is it that you're ready to freely just dive into and explore? You know,
right?
What does the wild, black, fierce, sexy horse need to go do? And you know.
Yeah, exactly. That's so cool that Tanette said hummingbird, because that's my spirit animal, actually.
Awesome.
And
a whale.
And yeah, cetaceans for sure. But I always think of the hummingbirds as like these multidimensional beings that like flutter in and out of this dimension and other dimensions, and they bring messages into this reality for me.
I love that.
That's how they resonate to me. And they always show up like in my little garden out there in divine timing. And when they're gone in the winter, I miss them so much. And then they come back in the spring and I'm like, oh, you're back. Yeah. So cool.
So majestic.
They are. Let's see. Julian said, I've always loved a tiger's face too. There's a big old tiger right there.
That's right.
And there's a hummingbird right there.
Oh my gosh.
Holding a heart. Can you see it?
Yeah. So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I made the cards, I don't know if I really said this, but without words on them. So you could use your intuition first. And then there's a number on it, which corresponds to the booklet, which you can read for further exploration. And this is what Tracy Dunblazer wrote, channeled. So here's the Divine Child, inner child.
Oh wow. Card. So she channeled each card after you finished all the drawings?
Yeah.
That's amazing. And when you read them, were you like, this is perfect? Or did you have an editing? Did you go back and edit any of them? No. They instantly resonated as correct to you? Yeah.
They're really powerful. Her interpretations were powerful. I wanted to focus just on the art and the essence of the card, so I knew what the names were. We edited a few of them together. but she really came through, and it's kind of cool because it'll show you like a few just keywords, and then it goes into a deeper description. So there's a lot of depth to these.
Yeah.
It can be as shallow or as deep as you want to take it, and interpreted in any way, you know.
Beautiful. I want to see your deck of cards, like the ones you work with in the tattoo shop. I bet you they're all like tattered, and are they all worn looking? And
a little bit. They held
yeah,
up pretty well.
Oh,
they
good.
really well, actually. Yeah.
That's really cool that you use them.
Yeah. And you know what's so cool? This card, this is the Mastery card. Mm-hmm. And at the Conscious Life Expo last week, was it last weekend? Or the weekend before? The weekend before.
I think it was the weekend before, yeah.
This woman came to our booth, and it was late. She was like the last one on Saturday night, coming by, just looking at it. And she's really into numbers. People are really into the numbers on the card, which is really interesting. That adds a whole nother level to them.
Yeah, it's like a whole nother layer.
Yeah, that I didn't expect. And she said, well, how many dots are there? You know, and I said, I don't know. Like, I didn't make them and count the dots. I'm not really a counter, but I guess I can. And I'm sitting there, and my best friend Taylor, she's like, Justine, just count them. Just focus and count them. Okay, here we go. I go all the way around. There's 52. There's 52 on there. And that's how many cards are in the deck.
Oh, wow. And wait, what's the number of that card?
It's Mastery, and it's 32, which is a 5.
Okay.
I don't know. Do you know numerology?
Well, I was wondering if it was a 7, because 52 is a 7, but that's a 5.
So maybe the deck would be a 7?
But 7 is about spiritual mastery, and 5 is about change. So 5 is the catalyst for change, as well as a 3, but 5 is really the catalyst for change. And 7 is... Yeah, and 7 is more like you're into your spiritual mastery. You know, you're a spiritual being, your consciousness, you know, all of that. You're on the spiritual path. 7s. I'm a 7, actually. Do you know what your number is?
No, I don't know.
I'll have to do your number chart someday.
That was cool. Really cool.
I'm not a master at all, but I learned it from Cryon. He teaches Tibetan numerology.
He does. That was a huge part of everything waking up and opening up for me back in over like 11 years ago. I started reading the books. Oh,
you did?
Yeah.
Oh, fascinating. I watch him on YouTube.
That's awesome.
Like all of, I think, 2016 and 2017, I was really into Cryon, and I was watching all his YouTube videos, or listening, because there's nothing to watch. And then I went and saw him in person, and that's where I learned the numerology, because he gave a crash course on Tibetan numerology. And it was so fun, because like I was still using my maiden name in a lot of my stuff, my branding. And it turns out my married last name is a way higher vibration name than my maiden name. It has like 2 or 3 master numbers in it, which are double digits, like 22 and 11, and you know, anything that's like 44. So then I just switched everything to my married name, and I was like, screw holding on to my maiden name.
Oh my goodness, that's so cool.
Yeah, I felt so like honored to be married into this family. I'm like, you guys have a really high vibration last name. I'm going to stick with that.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so you can do your whole name, you know, you lay out your whole name, your whole like first, middle, last name, and then each one has a number, and you do this whole calculation thing. It's pretty cool.
That's what I'm going to do tonight when we get off.
Yeah, just Google it. You can find it.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we've got about 7 minutes left. Okay. I was wondering, like, would you want to do one more card reading? How are you feeling?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so Tanette also asked for a reading.
Okay. So same thing, focus in on that big dream wish.
Oh, wait, hold on. What was it Dex wants me to ask? Ask for Lizzie, please.
Okay, we'll do one for both of them. Who was going?
Dexter, when you said ask for Lizzie, did you mean like ask if she could get a reading? Good night, Stephen. Okay, let's start with Jeanette, and then if you feel called, we can do Lizzie too.
Okay.
Okay.
So focus in on that intention, wish, desire you have for your life.
Okay, let's do Lizzie first. They're saying let's do Lizzie first. And so just say now, Lizzie, when you're ready. Now he's saying go with Jeanette. You guys are driving me crazy. No,
we're gonna do one card for both of them.
Okay, there we go.
They're the same.
We're doing one card for both of you.
They need the same card.
They're friends too, I think. So that might work out well. Okay, so who's going to say now? One of you just type in now. Now. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, that was okay, Lizzie. Ooh. Let me switch screens so you can see it big. Can you say something, Justine, so it switches to you?
Yes, I can. So I'm holding it in two different positions. And I'm trying to match it up in the screen. You can see it without the glare. So just look into it and see and feel into what your first impressions are. What emotion it evokes, memories, any place in your body you feel anything. And just type in your first impressions.
That's a powerful one. Lizzie says, bright and happy energy. Let's see what Jeanette says. Can you say something again, yes. Justine?
There yeah. So I think that, can you read it again? Whatever's being written in the...
Yes, so Lizzie said, bright and happy energy made me feel joy. And Jeanette said, vortex sun.
Okay, yeah, that's really powerful. So both of those are perfect descriptions for this card, which is the healing field. So this is about you being in a sort of like cocoon period of your life where the spark of joy is just beginning, and it requires this healing field around it to contain that bright joy and to cultivate it and care for it and nurture it and allow it to grow stronger and stronger and stronger. So right now it's about the size of a tea light candle. And how weak is that compared to a huge bonfire or the sun?
The sun.
The sun.
I had no influence on the deck.
But isn't that what she said?
Yeah, that's what she said. But earlier, remember I said I always get the sun card?
Yeah, true. You need it as well. So, I always say that when you think about your essence, your creative joy as as you're just tapping into it. You're just starting to feel it. It's this little flicker of passion and joy, and you're just identifying it. It's really important to nurture it. Maybe don't share it with a lot of people in your life who would be naysayers or blow it out in any way. It needs to be taken care of, and it needs to be safe. So new ideas are like that.
Right.
Parts of our body, parts of ourselves when we're going through big transformation need to be nurtured and cared for in these little bubbles. So when we're coming into ascension, we're waking up, we're highly sensitive. We're raw. Our skin is like, it's off, and we need to be really clean and clear with what we're absorbing and what we're around. We're in a healing field. And as time goes on, we become stronger, and that light grows and grows and grows, and the idea grows and grows and grows. Then you can share it with more people, and more people can feel it, and it grows as big as the sun. You know, and then look how much joy the sun gets to bring to all of us in its fullest expression, you know?
Yeah, that's so cool. That's really beautiful. When I saw the card, I saw the energy field of a being, like a person, toroidal field.
Yeah.
You know, and how that center spark is like the heart chakra, like expanding.
Yes.
You know, so it evoked like all of that, like being in touch with your energy body, knowing that we are all energetic beings, and being that bright spark for other people and for yourself. Like, that's kind of what I read when I saw it.
That's beautiful. I love that. See how powerful it is?
Yeah, and it's so beautiful too. Like, they're just so pretty to look at.
Like, if you wrote that down, let's just put that in the book, you know? Just from you looking
I'll
at
do
it.
the second edition. Oh, you're so funny. Well, this has just been amazing. They both said thank you. They love it.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah, that was just amazing. Thank you so much for sharing all of your beautiful creations and your wisdom and your intuitiveness. You know, this is just, it's been so fun learning from you and everything you're doing, and you're, you know, clearly on your path, and you're a great role model, I think, for a lot of people who are trying to get in touch with their wisdom and their creative side and their passion in their inner voice, you know, because a lot of times that gets quieted as a child, or, you know, in the workplace, or, you know, so many places that we get shut down, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
So thank you for doing the work you're doing in the world.
Thank you, because the ascension sessions are like the healing field bubble of being able to explore and grow and get strong in our cool spirituality. You know? But thank you, and thank you so much for having me on this awesome show. What a cool experience. Of course.
Anytime. I would love to have you back, and, you know, let people kind of follow your work as you're growing and evolving, because I know you'll be like creating new art all the time, and, you know, you'll probably have like 5 more businesses next time I talk to you.
I hope not. No. But so maybe, who knows? And thank you all for watching too.
Yeah, thanks to everyone in the chat room for coming on tonight. You guys are the best, and especially those of you so far away in Australia. You know, we love you guys. You're part of our tribe, and I can't wait to meet you next year in Australia, 2020. That's what I'm manifesting.
Awesome. Done and done.
Yes. Oh, one last question. You have an exhibit coming up. Do you want to just share really quickly, like, your next exhibit?
Sure. Yeah.
And then you can just go right into where people can find you on social media and online.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
I was accepted into this really cool art exhibition show. It's a weekend thing in San Francisco. Mm-hmm. It's called the Startup Art Fair, and it's the 26th through the 28th of April. And the artists take over this hotel. It's called the Hotel del Sol. And please reach out to me if you're interested in coming, because I may be able to get you a pass to come. So shoot a message to me, free pass, and you get to see all these amazing fine artists exhibiting their work. And each artist transforms their own room, a hotel room, into their own little world of art. It's their own art exhibition. So mine will be a sea portal of some sort, and I'm working on getting some projections made by my brother, who does these really cool kaleidoscopic stuff with my art, and it's going to be really fun. So come visit, hang out with us, and check that out. It's called the Startup Art Fair. And then, yeah, if you go to my website, justineserebrin.com, well, the cats are running around. That would be the best way to find everything about me. Or just Google my name. You can find everything there too.
And I will be going to see you at the Startup Art Fair. It's in San Francisco. How lucky am I, guys?
I know.
It's right here in my neighborhood. Yay. So I just looked it up online. Okay, great. Yeah. It's in the Marina District. If any of you are local, I know Eric's local. Eric can come and see you. And it looks like a really cool hotel, and that's a really nice part of San Francisco. So you'll be near the ocean and stuff too. You can get some ocean time in.
Yay!
Maybe I'll wear my mermaid costume in honor of your undersea world.
That would be so cool.
I was a mermaid for Halloween. Yeah.
Please do that. That would be really amazing.
That would be amazing, right? I can't promise anything. Awesome. Well, thank you so much. So did you get a chance to say your website, JustineSerebrin.com?
Yes.
She also has earthaltarstudio.com and highervibeliving.com. Yeah. And on Instagram, it's just Justine Serebrin, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Perfect. And she's also on Facebook too.
Justine Serebrin.
Okay. Awesome. So thank you so much, Justine. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I really appreciate you and all the work you're doing. And I hope that, you get to hear from some of our members or audience. And you guys, if you like this video, please hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. And if you wouldn't mind leaving a comment, comments are gorgeous. And those really help us let us know what you like and let our guests know that you enjoyed their show. So
thank you.
Please do all of that. Yeah, thank you as well. And thanks to our moderators, Dex and Stacy in the chat room. You guys did an awesome job holding the fort down. And we'll see you guys next week. Next Thursday at 7 p.m. I'm having a very special guest on. His name is Sebastian Martin, and he's a good friend of mine, and he's a pretty powerful guy in the ET world. Ooh, and in the contact world. Yeah.
Awesome.
So that should be a really good show. So hopefully you'll tune in, and we'll see you guys next week.
Cool.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Have a great night.